Thank you for tuning in to the Sisters Talk podcast. I'm your host, Danny M. And today I'm by myself. My co-host is busy right now, but you'll see her on the live segment later on today. So today we have special guest, Dr. Nesly. And for some of you guys that are seeing him right now, you're probably thinking, I've seen his face before. And you probably have on YouTube. So I'm the type of person, I like aesthetically pleasing things, sounds and images and things like that. And so I stumbled across Dr. Nesly's page, okay? I was kind of searching around and I found some other chiropractors on there, and I really enjoyed what they were doing for the human body. And when I saw Dr. Nesly, you really inspired me. And so I said, you know what, I gotta reach out to you. So without further ado, guys, Dr. Nesly, let us know who you are and where you're from.
Thank you. I truly appreciate it. Well, actually, I'm from the Caribbean. That's where I was born. I was born in Haiti, and I came here when I was very young. I was probably about 8 years old. And the first place I went to was New York. So I lived in Brooklyn the majority of my life. And then from Brooklyn, I came to Maryland, and from Maryland, went to University of Maryland, went to chiropractic school, and here I am.
That's so interesting. And thank you for sharing that with us today. How did you go from living in Haiti, in your childhood, going to New York where there's tons of snow and traffic and trains? How was that experience?
Well, I was young at the time, so, I didn't really remember much. I mean, I was probably about 7, 8, when I came to New York, and, I had family members who lived in the USA. And my parents, they wanted me to have a better education. So they wanted me to basically, go to school in the USA. So from New York, I went to elementary school. My first year of high school was in New York. So I believe it was the 10th grade is when I came to live with my aunt in Maryland. And then my journey started from that point on.
That's amazing. So let me ask, because in most African-American families or Black families, oftentimes we're kind of groomed into becoming who you're going to become later. Is that something that you experienced in your childhood? Did your family tell you you're going to be a chiropractor? You're going to be some type of doctor?
Right. Well, the thing is, I'm Haitian, so then our culture is we have a strict culture, It's like if you're not a lawyer or an engineer or some type of doctor, that's where they want you to focus your goals, basically. But with me, I know I wanted to do something in the health field. I didn't know what it was, At first, I considered physical therapy. I also considered going to medical school, but chiropractic wasn't part of my journey. Like, it wasn't in my thought, What happened is that I used to play soccer and I got injured, not professionally. This was just like a hobby, but This was a long time ago. I believe I was in high school when that happened. And I did a bicycle kick. So basically a bicycle kick is when you jump in the air and then you kick.
Oh, yes.
You're supposed to land on your back, but I ended up landing on my neck. So yeah, but I mean, fortunately, I didn't have any fractures or anything like that, but I ended up going to several doctors, got imaging done, and nobody really could help me. I mean, I got pain medications. And someone at that time, told my parents, hey, try a chiropractor. So then I went to the chiropractor, and within, I'll say maybe 6 to 8 weeks, my range of motion came back. I was able to move my neck. I felt better. And I'm like, hey, I went to all of these doctors and nobody really helped me, not the way this guy did.
Exactly.
So I started inquiring about chiropractic care. And this guy basically, he died. He passed away recently, but he was my mentor, and he basically gave me some information, and basically steered me to the right direction, basically.
Oh, wow. That's such an incredible story that you even got into this field based on your personal experience. That makes it even better. You went in with a purpose. You realized that, hey, this actually works and I can heal people with this. That is amazing. And rest in peace to your mentor. That is beautiful. Let me ask you, Dr. Nesly, how long have you been in your line of work, actually? How long has it been?
I graduated in 2005. So this is 2021. So 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And let me ask you, that's a long time.
Long time.
How long did the process take? Because I remember you just said that that's not chiropractic wasn't something that you originally thought that you would be a part of or be doing. So how long did it take you to figure that out?
I see. I see. So basically, chiropractic, to be a chiropractor, it takes about 8 years.
Okay.
So it's 4 years of undergrad, preferably, it's best to have a major in science. It makes you more competitive. So after the 4 years of undergrad, chiropractic school is 4 years. The first 2 years are basic sciences, where the courses are like histology, physiology, anatomy, biochemistry, diagnostic imaging.
You're
So
probably
those,
running a lot of people away right now. They're like, what, and what?
but it goes by fast. It goes by fast. I mean, 8 years. Don't get me wrong, 8 years is a long time, but it does go by fast. Right. So the first 2 years, are basic sciences, and then the remaining 2 years are more practical. So that's where you start to see patients, adjust patients, treat patients. You'll do your examinations and so forth. So altogether, it's 8 years, and then after that 4 year of chiropractic school, most chiropractors will work with another chiropractor to gain more experience. So you may have another 1 or 2 years of associateship where you're actually seeing patients. You are getting paid, but you are getting more experience as far as adjusting patients and, getting to put your hands on people, basically.
Right, which is so important. I can imagine with this technique that you're using. I've seen you do some amazing wonders. I'm serious. I watched the video of you adjusting a nurse. She was a traveling nurse. She was in
That's right.
so much pain. That's the video that got me, Dr. Nesly. I'm like, when I saw you hold her in a position where you adjusted her whole torso section, I was like, whoa, I didn't even know that was possible. So, and I could just see the release, relief and release on her face. And I don't, look, I am a person who I only get massages and maybe get my toes done. So for someone to be cracking bones, I don't know. Let me ask you something. If you have a patient who doesn't really have any hard hitting issues in their bodies or any type of difficulty with range of motion, would you even suggest them to come in and get an adjustment anyway, or would you say stay away from that?
Well, it all depends. Certain people will come in because they want better range of motion. So if I assess a patient and range of motion is perfectly fine, there are no issues whatsoever, at that point I wouldn't adjust them, but I may suggest or recommend certain things to stay active, at least, like stretches, exercise, walking, and even massage to kind of help decrease tension in the muscle. But the majority of people that I see have some type of issue. Now, it may not be pain, it may not be an actual diagnosis of an issue, but their range of motion may be limited. For example,
Yes.
they may not be able to turn their head all the way to the right, all the way to the left. That may create some tension when they're moving, when they're bending. They may have some, not discomfort, but they may not be able to bend all the way. So chiropractic care is excellent for musculoskeletal issues. If you're having pain, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, joint pain, it's great because it's so safe. Some people may not have pain, but they may have restrictions. So sometimes we'll have people who come in and they're just restricted and they need to be adjusted. As you can see in some of our videos, after we adjust someone, they'll say, oh man, I could move better. Oh, I feel light, so it increases your range of motion.
Yes, very true. Thank you for sharing that, because a lot of people didn't realize, I'm sure, that your work can actually relieve joint pain. That's big. That seems to be an ongoing issue for the aging population in the U.S. specifically. So let me ask you something. And for you guys who are just tuning in, Dr. Nesly has over 30,000 followers on YouTube. So make sure you go out and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Very, very informative. I mean, you see real-time results. And that's the thing that really impressed me. It's like immediately, as soon as after you hear that crack, they're like, oh, Oh my God. And and for a person that's just watching it on YouTube like myself, I'm like, that's impossible. But then,
Right.
you keep going and they keep saying it. And it's like, and then and I love the fact that you ask them to move in certain ways so you can kind of adjust and see where their limitations are. And then immediately after the crack, they're going like, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 degrees more so each way. And I'm like, wow, this is voodoo. I don't know what this is. But it's
Right.
amazing. You do amazing work. So let me ask you, what are some of the things about your job that you enjoy the most?
I enjoy chiropractic. I enjoy every aspect of it. The anticipation of folks, especially the new folks, the newbies, they'll come in and they've never been adjusted before and they're nervous. And I just can't wait to see their expression. I can't wait to experience that expression after that adjustment. And I also have a lot of skeptics, so some people will come in and say, man, this is sound effects that you guys are putting up there. I said, okay, all right, no problem. And then I'll assess them, I'll examine them, and they may be restricted or certain motions may be creating pain. And, after my assessment, I'll adjust and they're like, oh, wow, it's real. Oh, did you hear that? So I enjoy that part, but I also enjoy getting people well. Now, chiropractic care is not a quick fix. Certain people may have more chronic conditions where they have to see us more frequently, okay? And some people may just have just your regular ache, soreness, and stiffness. And in that particular case, these folks may see me once or twice, for the year, and they're fine. But I enjoy every part of it. I enjoy the relief. I enjoy getting people well, and just the folks who have never experienced chiropractic. That first experience, I enjoy the whole thing.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, on the other end of the spectrum, what are some of the cons with doing your job? I mean, that's a lot of physical labor for you.
Right. I mean, it's a lot of physical labor, so you have to be fit. You have to stay active. Even myself, I get adjusted on a regular basis. Usually 3 times, 4 times a month, I have to get adjusted. Some days I may see 8, 10, 15 folks, and at the end of the day, I'm done, So it's important to stay active if you are a chiropractor. Also, chiropractic it's still new, it's fairly new. So there are a lot of skeptics, and some folks can say, oh, chiropractors are quacks, or they don't really go to school, they're not real doctors. So part of the reason I started my YouTube channel is to show people, hey, this is a true thing, this is a real thing. And not only that, some folks think we don't even go to school. Now, there are different types of doctors. There are dentists, there are chiropractors, there are medical doctors. I believe a lot of folks, they try to compare us to medical doctors, which we are not. Now, we do go to school for 4 years, 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of chiropractic school. And the first 2 years of chiropractic school are similar to the medical school curriculum. The last 2 years, however, they are different because we're adjusting, we're, assessing. So that part, there's a difference in that part. And I believe a lot of folks who are not aware or are ignorant about the chiropractic profession, they may have, certain skepticism when it comes to that. And I think part of it is negative comments. You hear someone say, oh, I went to a chiropractor and he snapped my neck and I haven't been right since, So imagine someone having a bad experience, telling somebody else and say, oh, these folks are quacks. I went over there and then I'm worse than I am now. So now it's spreading, So this is the reason why I decided to say, hey, let me start an Instagram page. Let me start a YouTube page. I want to show folks what chiropractic is about. That way I can dispel some of the myths, that are out there.
Absolutely. I really love the fact that you thought enough to do that, because I'm telling you, you are really informing a lot of people, including myself. So I'm going to ask you a tough question. Well, it's not going to be tough for you, but I'm pretty sure the crowd wants to know the answer to it. Is there any pain at all associated with these adjustments? Because I'm sure a lot of people worry about that before they go into you.
Yeah, now I understand. The adjustments are not painful at all. So I know the cracking sound scares people, but honestly, it's not cracking. We're not cracking your bones. What it is, it's a difference in pressure. So for instance, when I rotate, say for example, I'm doing a cervical adjustment, a neck adjustment, and if you notice, I'll maybe laterally flex or put the patient's head into side bending position, and then I'll apply a thrust. When I apply that thrust, what it is, you have your synovial fluids, the fluid that surrounds the joints, gases are released because of the pressure difference. That's where you hear the popping sound. It's kind of like cracking your knuckles. When you do that, you're not really cracking your bones. It's just the difference in pressure and gases are being released. It's not painful. Now, you have to do your due diligence and check the skill of your chiropractor. Me personally, after an adjustment, if you watch any of my videos, it's always a relief. The patients will say, oh, that feels good. Oh, you know, that's great. So that's the feeling you should feel. That's how you should feel after an adjustment. And now what I'm doing in most of my newer videos, I'll ask the patient, any pain? You know, the reason I say that, I want people to hear them say it themselves. Right. Oh, no, there's no pain at all. It feels great. So after each adjustment, I tend to ask my patients, how do you feel? You know, are you okay? Are there any pain? And they'll answer. That way people can say it, can see it, and understand that there's no pain associated with the adjustment.
Love it. Love it. See, so you guys, you have the answer. Don't come in here asking, oh, no, it's going to hurt. Dr. Nesly just let you know. And I want to ask a question about the adjustment of the neck. That's the one that I fear the most. Right. Because you really have to give full control over to your chiropractor to do that type of adjustment. Is there any way to where things can go wrong, you know, with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with any medical procedure, you know, there's always some type of risk associated with it. Chiropractic care is extremely safe. Chances of being hurt are probably like 1 in a million, to be honest with you. But your chiropractor should screen you first before any adjustments, especially the neck. Because what happens with the neck, we do have a vertebral artery. So it runs to the side of the neck. It goes up to the head. So if that vertebral artery is kinked, or if there's, you know, any dissection of that artery, it can cause some issues like strokes and, you know, and extreme pain. So certain conditions, if you have them, you shouldn't be adjusted. Like if you had a fusion or neck surgery or certain inflammatory diseases, like maybe rheumatoid arthritis, you know, these type of stuff. If you have vertebral basilar artery insufficiency. So basically if that artery, if it's kinked, or if certain motions may cause you to be dizzy or have blurred vision. So these type of things, your chiropractor have to assess you for them before they adjust the neck. But honestly, it's very safe. Chances of somebody being hurt is extremely rare, but it is a possibility. Like I said, any medical procedures has some type of risk associated with it. But I've adjusted thousands of people and I've never had an issue, you know, knock on wood.
Right.
But it's safe. It's safe.
Okay, awesome. I really do appreciate you being so transparent today. Before we go, I just want you to let everyone know where they can find you, all of your sources of contact. Shout them out.
So my Instagram page is Pain Rehab DC. So that's pain spelled out and Pain Rehab DC. That's my Instagram. For YouTube, all you have to do is just type in my name. If you go to YouTube and you type Dr. Nesly Clerge or you type Nesly Clerge, my channel should pop up.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Dr. Nesly, for just taking a little bit of your time on Super Bowl Sunday to do this interview with me. We'll definitely be airing this on Valentine's Day. You know, the best love is self-love. Even if you don't have a Valentine's, you know, going to go see Dr. Nesly if you're in his area. Shout him out, let him know you found out about him on the Sisters Talk podcast. All right, so thank you again, Dr. Nesly. For everybody that's watching, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next Sunday.
Thank you.